Hello everybody and welcome back to Europa, where last episode we won a war out over here and we've begun to integrate this, but it's going to take a little time. We've got 2 additional provinces to integrate out over here. What we really need right now is cash. So I want to check in on Shire, up over this direction, and we're at minus 260. So if we check in on our RGO up here, we can see that it's going to be 16 months until Shire is completed on acquiring employees. So we know that we don't want to build just yet, and that's fine. So we do want to get that going eventually. Let's tick forward a little bit here, and we have some disloyal subjects right now. I do want to come up over here and start building a spy network on Qatar. Yeah, that'll increase by 0.89 per month. So what is it currently? It's at 0? Okay, sure. So yep, we'll get that started, and that looks good for the moment. The real question right now, of course, is, are we going to turn this financially around? And the dream is eventually, but we'll probably have to go more into debt to do it, right? That's the current thinking. So 16 months, and on the month tick, oh, we became a great power again. Cool. So on the month tick, we can see that this is now 15 months. Yeah. So here in about 3 months is when we're going to want to start constructing again in Shire. So that's understood. Absolutely fine. No problem whatsoever there. I don't suppose we can get these guys drilling. Actually, that is a thing. But we need to have researched it. Okay, noted. So that's a technology. Sounds good. So at this moment, I would like to very, very, very slightly bump up the cost of the court, because I want us to be positive in our legitimacy. Our prestige is currently negative, and that is, of course, because our army maintenance is down, as is our fort maintenance. And we want that for the moment. We absolutely want that. Okay. So we just hit inefficient minting, which is not terribly surprising. And we also know that we aren't making much manpower at this moment. So that is a potential concern, but not a major concern at this exact moment. That's like a short to medium term concern. There's also these rebels here. We're keeping an eye on them. They will need to be crushed eventually. But for right now, we are much, much more focused on constructing over here in Shire. So if we right-click on that and go to the iron, that doesn't actually bring us to the RGO. That just does nothing. Okay, I really thought that that was going to bring me to the RGO. We have a market with low food stockpile in Adon. So if we look at our markets here, Adon is up over this direction. And do we have anything in that? I guess we do a little bit. Understood. So we would want to come out over this direction, right? And this area out here is what's going to end up running out of food. So to that end, we could think about... let's see. We can right-click on this. Does beeswax produce food? I don't think so. I don't think beeswax is considered a food. No, it is. It does have food output. Okay. Interesting. So that is definitely something that we could think about doing, is getting that going. I wonder if this is intended to just build the RGO. And we can't do it because we can't... Yeah, left-click expands the RGO, right-click reduces the RGO. Gotcha. And nothing is happening because we don't have the cost at this moment. Okay, that's fine. So that's understood. That is a fairly convenient way to expand the RGO, so I don't hate that. So let's upgrade this RGO when we can, but is this the time? Hang on. This might be the time. 13 months? It's close. We're going to wait until the next month tick. We're making small amounts of money right now, but we're still going to need to get a little bit more debt here. Not much, but a little bit. And yeah, I know our cabinet lacks members. I have bigger priorities at this moment. So that's all looking good. No doubt about it. We're just waiting on this month tick to go through. And hang on. I just noticed something. We're not going to repay this loan. We're going to extend this loan. I just noticed something. It goes from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's only a 12-hour day. Interesting. Okay. I mean, everything did kind of shut down between sunset and sunrise back in that time period, so I guess that makes sense. So at this point, we need to get our RGO building in Shire. So we need to get ourselves about 10 more ducats here. So we can take one loan, and then we can come in here, and we can expand our RGO. There we go. So that's underway. And once that's done, and once it gets all of its employees, which is going to be a while, then that'll be wonderful. So that's underway, and we're going to be attacking up over here relatively shortly. Now, we are integrating Aromia. How much would it cost to appoint a character here? 8 ducats. We should definitely do it. No doubt about that. And Marshall is what increases the integration speed, so that's good to know. So I definitely think that we should get ourselves another cabinet member. The question is when. So down over this direction, Anaria's opinion of us is not exactly where we want them to be, because we want to change them to either a fiefdom or a vassal, and I'm not sure which. It enjoys increased efficiency of our cabinet, but becomes ruled directly by the overlord's monarch, as opposed to a vassal, which I think is more of a traditional EU4 vassal. So is a fiefdom essentially a march? I'm a little unclear about the difference between a fiefdom and a vassal right now, and we should definitely figure that out. The most typical type of a subject, a vassal oversees its territory on behalf of its overlord, pays vassal fees, and joins the military campaigns of its overlord. It gets greater efficiency of our cabinet, while the overlord gets increased monthly prestige, and both countries get faster spread of institutions. As opposed to a fiefdom, a junior title that is the property of its overlord's ruler. Exclusive for a monarchy of the same religion group as the overlord, it enjoys increased efficiency of our cabinet, but becomes ruled directly by the overlord's monarch. So I'm still a little unclear about that. We would be able to build RGOs and roads and buildings in our subject. This seems like this is a more integrated type of vassal than the standard vassal, is what I'm thinking. Well, maybe not, actually. I'm still unclear on the difference there, but it's okay. So we're no longer considered a great power. That's fine. There's an independence movement. Yeah, that's understood. We knew that that was going to be a thing. As of right now, of course, we're mostly just waiting. We're mostly waiting for money to start properly ticking in, which is going to take some time. Our RGO in Shire is actually full now. That was fast. Okay, that was very fast. And I kind of want to go even further into debt. And the reason is I want to get another RGO going. So we're going to go into production, into goods, and then the RGO builder, which will give us access to see that the next most profitable location for us is in Kubar. And that's beeswax. Okay, sounds good. We're going to get that going. So that'll get done eventually, and we'll get our workers underway there. So that will be fantastic. Eventually, we're going to want to get basically all of these built, but for the time being, look at how profitable Shire is. That's insane. That's absolutely wild. What buildings are here right now? I don't suppose... Oh, we could build a rural smelter here, potentially. I would definitely like to do that. Yeah, we can focus this to be more productive on this, but right now, our top priority would be about maxing out that RGO, in theory. But that takes a significant amount of time, right? Because of the worker situation. Now, building buildings might also have a worker problem related to it, and that's definitely something we will have to think about. going forward. Can we repay any of this debt? I would like to get out of debt eventually, but I don't think now is the time to do that, especially not when we can just put in a character here, which would be this guy. Okay. So there we go. That'll boost up our integration speed down here, which is, of course, a big deal for us. So then the question becomes, up in Shire, if we wanted to put in a building here, and that building we wanted to be a... Where was this? So we've got like this charcoal kiln here. Yeah, that's not exactly what we want. What we would really want would be this rural smelter. That would boost our iron output by 10%. Oh, we're at great power again. Okay, cool. So how much does this cost? 50 gold. Okay. Noted. That's a lot of gold. For right now, I think we'll just keep doing what we're doing. And, I mean, we're currently net negative in our gold, but that should change pretty soon as we start to get these farms online. Or rather, these RGOs online, I should say. And I'm going to get these guys making their way up over here, because we're going to want them to be up here eventually. Because we're going to want to attack up over here eventually. But that's going to be a fairly long-term process at this moment. So that seems fine. Now, losing a decent amount of gold right now, not ideal, for sure. Definitely not ideal. But it's okay for the moment. So we're continuing to improve opinions down over here. We want to get Eneria changed over to one of these vassal statuses. We can't annex this. Wait, this isn't saying that we can't annex them as a tributary. Hang on. This subject cannot be annexed. So yeah, tributaries can't be annexed, but this tooltip doesn't say that. That's interesting. I feel like it should say that. So tributaries cannot be annexed, as I thought. So we're going to take a loan here. That's unfortunate, but not the end of the world. I think after we finish up our construction here, we should definitely consider building buildings here. And the building that we should build, well, we can actually see how much... This would be the... Is this a base tax increase? This must be the base tax increase here. That's the profit per level. So the rural cloth maker would actually be the most profitable here, which is kind of wild to me. Why would that be so much more profitable than the rural smelter? This is saying that this wouldn't make anything, but this would actually boost the iron output by 10%, which is the entire economy here. So I guess we need to not really be blindly trusting these numbers in that case. This would be producing clay, which we're not very interested in, right? But this would absolutely bring in, or this would consume lumber, tools, and coal in order to boost the output of all of our mines, right? And that's almost certainly what we want to do here. So that's good to know. Very good to know indeed. So we're going to finish this construction up, and our finances are not in the greatest of positions right now. I was hoping our finances would be a little bit better than this at this moment, but this is probably just due to our loans, right? How much are we spending on interest? 0.81? That's very, very close to being all of it. Okay, so that's noted. We're buying food in a number of locations, including Tigray. So in that case, I want to go into our provinces map mode. So that's going to be under geography and then provinces. And then we can see that Tigray is right up over here. So this is where Shire is. So hypothetically, if we were to build, we could build wheat up here to boost our production there and spend less gold on buying food for this area. So how much are we spending on that? 0.46. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. So 36.6, I'm going to do it. But we're going to go further into debt to do it. And that's not necessarily ideal, but I'm going to get this started. Let's get some wheat going up over here. I want to be spending less money on food, ideally. So we'll get that started, and that'll be fine. Of course, the debt is kind of eating us alive right now, and that's not necessarily shocking. But if we can reduce our food expenditures significantly, then that would be fantastic. So let's do that, and we can also check to see here, yeah, these are just our buildings. That's fine for right now. And this interest, of course, this is a significant problem. So we need to get our hands on some money and repay our debts, but we need to get our economy a little bit more online first. So this over here is not actually getting any employees. We didn't build this, but I'm definitely noticing what type of workers does this even need? It doesn't appear to say. Okay. Well, nomadic tendencies have been researched, and that seems fine. What can we do next? Well, these are our options, and I think monthly legitimacy would be very good. That'll allow us to cut our crown costs. So that sounds excellent. We'll take that. And at this moment, our war exhaustion is nil, which is not shocking. We're going to finish up our iron construction up here in just 14 days, and that will be a big boon for us, for sure. We're going to be finishing up our wheat over here in Axum shortly, as well as our beeswax fairly soon as well. So all of that will be finishing and dramatically helping. Okay, this is our noble estate. They have a long tradition of service to the state, both as military leaders or, more recently, as dependable administrators. In a state where the Makuanant? I'm not sure how that's supposed to be pronounced, I'm sorry, are as strongly entrenched and loyal as ours. This means that from time to time, nobles of great talent and loyalty will emerge to lead the country to greatness. Okay, so we gain 10 army tradition. Cool. We'll take it. Okay, so we're finishing up our iron up in Shire. Fantastic. And now we should be at minus 1,043. Interesting. So this must just have a threshold of it doesn't tell you about it if it's below a certain level. Okay, good to know. So that's absolutely fine, and we will continue to work on bringing up our iron production up over this way. So if we look in here, we can see the other location that we're buying a lot of food in is in Afar. So Afar is out over here. Yeah, that's this province out here. Is that a split province? No, it's just this out over here. Okay, so if we were to boost this up, wild game presumably does produce food, right? Maybe not. What's up over here? Beeswax? That does definitely produce food. Salt is over here. This is fish. Okay. We could definitely get some fish out over this way. What would be the profitability out here? Profit per level? None. This is probably due to control and the fact that this is not an integrated province, is my guess. So that's understood. Our economy is currently quite net negative, and that is definitely something that I want to handle. So for now, we could start cutting our diplomatic spending even further, which I'm going to do. It's going to be a bit of a problem eventually. But for now, we'll do that. I'm also going to cut the cost of the court down to here, which is where it's going to be when we finish our technology. That's not necessarily ideal, but that'll do for now. We are going to need to have our legitimacy be above 30, so we can only hold this for so long, but that's understood. Okay, so we'll let that go for right now. We're still losing a little bit of money, but that should go away as we get our RGOs sorted out. So that'll be good. We'll complete our wheat construction here. We'll complete our beeswax construction down here. Both of those should be fairly useful for us. So looking in at our economy here, our fort maintenance is still a bit much. We could consider getting rid of our forts, but I actually think most of these forts are pretty well placed. We've got a fort here. We've got a fort here, which I don't mind. We've got a fort here. We've got 2 forts up over here. I think all of that's pretty okay. The main problem here is Ifat is kind of blocking this one. So maybe we should get rid of our fort level here. So this is our castle here, and then this is our barracks. Let's get rid of the castle and not the barracks. Okay, so we got rid of that castle. That puts us positive financially by quite a lot, actually. Arguably, we maybe should do the same thing here. How much are we paying for this? 0.12? I mean, that's not that much, but I am going to get rid of that. Okay, I'll keep... we'll keep Yeha. I think the one in Axum can be gotten rid of, and maybe should be. I'm assuming our capital fort is like in Europa 4. Yeah, okay. Looks good. Wait, this isn't a capital fort at all. This is a fort up over here. Do we have a capital fort? Maybe not. But this is still, I think, useful for controlling this area out over here. Reduce trade investments or reduce satisfaction. We'll take the reduced satisfaction for right now. They'll get over it. So that looks good for the moment. We're making a decent chunk of money now, and that's very good. I want to take a look at our loans here. I wanted to, yeah, open this. Okay. So I'm just checking through here and seeing how many loans we have. We do have a number of them, and I want to get that debt snowball rolling now that we do have decent money flowing in, and that will be absolutely fantastic. We're going to get this farm done in Axum up here very soon, and we can see our RGOs here definitely needing some additional employees. That's all absolutely fine for right now. We're not getting any employees over here for our wild game, and I have to wonder if that's due to control. Pop assimilation, maybe? I don't think that would be pop assimilation, to be honest. But it's probably due to the lack of control or the lack of integration. So we have markets with a low food stockpile out over here. We know that. That's absolutely fine for the moment. I'm not concerned about it. 2.65, that's solid. That's very solid income now. I like it. That's really, really good. Hopefully it remains around that point, especially once this wheat finishes. Now, keep in mind, we're not building the wheat primarily for its own profitability. We're building the wheat because we don't want to buy food for Tigray. So that is now completed. Excellent. So we have 4.94 gold. I want to start working on getting our debt snowball rolling. So we know that our loans are going to cost how much to repay? We'll call it somewhere around 10 gold per loan, at least for now. We're going to have these loans down here, which are greater, but for the moment, that looks good. So on the next month tick, we'll be able to repay one of these loans. That's fantastic. So we're really, really happy about that. Where do we see our current amount of inflation? Because we did build up a little bit of inflation, but we're very, very slightly reducing the inflation right now. And I'm wondering, is this just... Oh, this is it right here. Okay, so we could cut our minting down to here, and in 45 months, our inflation will be gone. And I think that's definitely a reasonable thing to do. So we'll get that done, and on the next month's tick, we'll be able to repay one of our loans, which will reduce the amount of interest that we're paying. That'll be very good for us. 1.04 ducats per month right now going into that. So at this moment, yeah, we're buying a bunch of food in Lasta, in Tigray, in Amhara. Okay. So where's Lasta? Lasta is our capital province. Noted. So if we were to build RGOs down over here, this would be wheat, this would be clay, and this would be what? Legumes. Okay, profit is 0.43, and profit here would be 0.26. So legumes would be the way to go if we wanted to build one. Alternatively, we could pay off our debt. Or some of our debt. Actually, I'm going to go further into debt here. Okay. And we're going to come in here, and we're going to build this legume production. I'm assuming this is going to get us food, right? Presumably. Yeah, that gets us food. I would have been shocked if that didn't get us food. So we're going to get a legume production going there so that we are not buying food in Lasta. And then we've got Amhara, which is also... Amhara's down over here, of course. Amhara, which is also causing us some problems. We could build beeswax. We could build that stone. Over here would be stone, and over here would be lumber. So the beeswax is the only real option here, although that's quite profitable. Consider it done. So we're going to get that going. Yeah, our interest is piling up, for sure. We're going to get those RGOs underway. And we're still currently technically slightly positive. I do want to get some of these loans paid off, for sure. But I think we're better off investing the money right now and paying the loans later, which is going to be exactly what we're doing. We just finished integrating Aromia, and that is excellent. We need to do more province integration, and we're going to do this one next. Excellent. There we go. Well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue to work on getting our economy set up a little bit better. These food purchases are definitely hurting us a lot, as is our interest. And we're going to want to pay that debt down as soon as we can. The question is, when is that? We'll see. What is this? There's a coup attempt? Ah, this is because of our legitimacy. Yeah, we need to bump this back up. We're in a better position for this now, so that's okay. This is 29.93, so we'll get there soon enough. Okay, cool. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge, SKL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.